Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Asim. We'll discuss some MCQ regarding the diabetes mellitus, which may be helpful for solving the scenarios and MCQ in your final exam. As we have discussed in the previous lectures, its pathogenesis and its diagnosis and its complications and acute complications. With reference to that, few MCQs will be discussed one by one. The first one is a 50 years old diabetic man has had a non-healing ulcer on the bottom of his foot for last 2 months. On examination, the 2 centimeter ulcer overlies the right first metatarsal head. There is reduced sensation to pinprick in his feet. His visual acuity is reduced bilaterally. Laboratory studies shows serum creatinine 2.9 milligram per deciliter. Normal is up to 1.3. Which of the following laboratory test findings is the most likely to have? Now, this scenario showing that a 50-year-old diabetic man, it means that they have already cleared you in this one that he is a diabetic. All other things are just the complications which have been uh, narrated in this story. So ulcer, that is the complications because the diabetic foot is the common complication in diabetes. Now, there is a reduced sensation, which means he is also having neuropathy. He is also having ocular complications in which the visual acuity is. Now, question is asked is very simple, but from this scenario, you may be asked different questions. In this question, the question is glycosuria. Answers should be which one? Hypoalbuminemia, hypokalemia, leukopenia, uricosuriya. Up when we discuss it, say, in your opinion, the answer should be the glycosuria. That is the right answer. Why not the hypoalbuminemia? You have to discuss this thing. You have to keep in mind, hypoalbuminemia is not the presentation of a diabetic patient. There will be definitely, or it will be normal, or it will be just borderline. It is not the significant finding. Hypokalemia is not the finding in the diabetic advanced stage as it is shown in the MCQ. Leukopenia, it should be rather increased WBC count, not the leukopenia. Uricosuriya means uric acid secretion in the urine. So in this scenario, keeping in mind this straightforward answer, it's a very simple MCQ, but it may be complicated for someone who may not be seeing the whole scenario. If they are not, if the word diabetic is omitted from here, even then you have to see which type of the abnormality he is having. It does not go with any other conditions. All three other activities, which is visual activity, loss of sensation, and there is also serum creatinine rise, which is also complication of the diabetes. So in this case, glycosuria is the most suitable answer. The next one is a 35 years old man presents with complaints of the fatigue and the pain in the calf muscles. He was advised blood glucose level and his report reveals random blood glucose of 210 milligram per deciliter. He was advised oral glucose tolerance test. Oral glucose tolerance test should not be carried out in which of the following conditions. Now you are asked about the diagnostic aspect of the diabetes. In which conditions oral glucose tolerance should be advised? Fasting plasma more than 154 milligram, plasma glucose more than 140 after 50 gram glucose in a pregnant lady, plasma fasting glucose between 105 and 126, patients with family history of diabetes mellitus, patients with previous history of large babies. Now you have to pick up the right answer. For that, his random blood glucose level is 210. It means he is also complaining of the fatigue, and the pain in the lower calf muscles. It means he is most probably not the confirmed, but most probable case of that one. Now, we have only one finding over here. Either on this basis, can we go for this one? The answer for this will be fasting plasma more than 154 milligram. In this condition, it should not be carried out because it is confirmed that the level is more than 126, which we discussed in the lab diagnosis. Plasma glucose between more than 140 after gram in pregnant lady, that we have already know that in gestational diabetes, the level more than 140 in 50 gram is indication of the diabetes. Plasma fasting glucose between 105 and 126, that is also impaired glucose tolerance. In these conditions, it should be applied. Patient with family history of the diabetes having variable blood glucose level, they must go for that oral glucose OGTT. Then previous history of the large babies. Those pregnant ladies having large babies, they may be having diabetes. So it must be confirmed if their one level is not confirmatory, or they should be it should be documented by oral glucose tolerance test. So in this particular case, when the level is clear cut, there is no indication of the oral glucose tolerance test. Very simple question. Which of the following tests is best indicator for the long-term assessment of the control of the diabetes mellitus? Fasting plasma glucose, 2 hours postprandial blood glucose, glycosylated hemoglobin, fructosamine, oral glucose tolerance test. I know straightforwardly it will be coming in your mind is the glycosylated hemoglobin. Now, if you keep it in mind that the best indicator, fasting plasma for the control is not the ideal one. 2 hours postprandial is not also the ideal one. It may vary. It may be normal, but for the control, it is the purpose, long-term control, how we can assess. That is about 2 to 3 months average of the HbA1c. That gives you the patient has been taking the medication or patient has been taking the insulin on proper time and his average glucose is normal. If it is less than 6.5, it means he is having a good control. If one level is abnormal in these conditions, we cannot go for this. This is not routinely performed and this is not recommended for fructosamide. Or oral glucose tolerance test is not the total indication in that. This is totally not a valid option to be kept in this scenario. So in this scenario, HbA1c is the answer. Next question is a 23 years old male presented with severe proteinuria, urine protein 7.5 gram per 24 hours. He had following serum levels of various analytes. Albumin is 2.5 gram. Cholesterol is 340, which is very high. It is normal value are given over here, less than 200. LDL cholesterol 191. It should be less than 150. Triglyceride 181. Urea 46. It means abnormality is where? What can be? What is the most probable diagnosis in this patient? Primary hypercholesterolemia, diabetes mellitus, glycogen storage disease, liver disease, nephrotic syndrome. Which option is in your mind? Can it be primary hypercholesterolemia? The answer is no, because they have not given any indication of the family history of anything related to that. What are the indicators in this? The only indicator in this is severe proteinuria. Severe proteinuria, it means 7.5 gram is too much. We differentiate normal level is about up to 150 milligram per day, meaning by it is related to some other condition. In diabetes, it cannot be like this. In glycogen storage disease, this level cannot be like this 7.5 gram. This is heavy proteinuria. In liver disease, it is also. And secondly, there are no indications, no indicators, no key points related to these diseases. Now comes the nephrotic syndrome. You have to differentiate when you studied the kidney, you have to differentiate between the nephritic and the nephrotic. Then we have a cutoff level of 3. If it is less than 3, then it is most probably nephritic, and if it is more than 3, then it is nephrotic syndrome. So in this case, just nephrotic syndrome. Why this question was put in this? Because it relates to the renal pathology. But considering the diabetes, you may answer if the values are different somewhere. If it is not, it is just given proteinuria, not the values given, then it may just confuse you. In that case, you must also see what are the other things given in the scenario. Only this level is totally contradictory to the other conditions. The next question is 21-year-old male presented in the emergency in semi-conscious state. He is a known patient of diabetes mellitus since 4 years of age. His BMI is 21. Biochemical profile is as follows: blood glucose 310 milligram, serum calculated osmolarity 273, urine ketones 3. Now diabetic, blood glucose increased. He is in semi-conscious state presented in the emergency. Now these are the 3 indicators pointing towards 1. Which of the following acute complications of diabetes mellitus most probably in this patient suffering from? All it has been made very simple. They have asked the complications. So you have to think about what complications can be. Early hyperosmolar hyperglycemic diabetic coma. One condition, hypoglycemia cannot be. Diabetic ketoacidosis and late hyperosmolar hyperglycemic diabetic coma. You must keep in, as we discussed in the previous lectures, hyperosmolar and hyperglycemic diabetic coma and diabetic ketoacidosis, they are based on 2 things. In hyperosmolar, which is also called HHNS, non-ketotic coma, there are no ketones, but glucose level is very high in those. It's not very high in this condition, in this patient. Hypoglycemia cannot be. In diabetic ketoacidosis, these 2 findings and these also this one, they all point towards this one, diabetic ketoacidosis. Late hyperosmolar cannot also be the answer because the levels are not too much in the form of the blood glucose. So its answer is diabetic ketoacidosis. Whenever you are going to attempt the question, you must read the key points in the scenario. That is most important. Here's semi-conscious, diabetic, 4 years history. It means he has developed some complication. And BMI 21 and biochemical profile is like this. 21 years old. Most probably he is a type 1 or diabetic because it is more common in those cases if the insulin dose is omitted or it is inappropriate. The next question is, a 37-year-old male was seen in the emergency room. Past history revealed patient had developed diabetes mellitus at the age of 8 years. At admission, laboratory data showed. Now, he has clearly focused you pointing towards the person 37 years, diabetes at the age of 8 years. He has prolonged to the 37 years. Serum glucose 950, sodium is less, potassium is more, it's 6.0, and chloride 79 is also less, pH is 7.1, which is purely acidotic. Bicarbonate, that is less. They are suggestive of what? Metabolic acidosis, respiratory acidosis, lactic acidosis, compensatory metabolic alkalosis, respiratory alkalosis. Now, this is a very simple question. The answer should be what's your coming in mind. Can it be respiratory alkalosis? No. because there is no sign of any involvement of the other things. He has not given any type of the indications, which is moreover it is just contradictory to this one. Compensatory metabolic alkalosis, it cannot be. Not it cannot be possible with this. 2 points. He is a diabetic. Second point is this one, glucose 950. Third point is potassium is high. Then it is most probably suggestive of metabolic acidosis. Now, very simple question. Which of the following laboratory tests finding best distinguish type 1 diabetes from the other forms of the diabetes? Elevated HbA1c level, ketoacidosis, glycosuria, decreased plasma insulin concentration, hyperglycemia. Hyperglycemia can be in both, which cannot be differentiated between the two. Decreased plasma insulin, that can be in both conditions, type 1 and other forms. Glycosuria can also be in other forms. What other? Now we are left with the elevated HbA1c level, that is just a test which measures the average level. Answer will be ketoacidosis, which is more common in type 1 diabetes mellitus. So this scenario can be made other way. You may be asked which test you will go for that one. If you have to diagnose well, then urine ketones can be the option over here which will be asked. So whenever you are going to read the question, you must try to find the key points in that one. Never hit towards the direct that it will be that one. The next question is, following the 2003 ADA guidelines, the times of the measurement of the plasma glucose levels during an OGTT in non-pregnant patients are non-pregnant. This is non-pregnant. This is not in that. OGTT means oral glucose tolerance. What should be? According to the guidelines, these guidelines have been modified later on also. Fasting in the 2 hours, fasting in the 60 minutes, at 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, and 120 minutes. Fasting, same 35 levels at 0 and 3 hours. Now, this is a little bit confusion. If you have not gone through the properly orally treated, then only latest criteria says 2 levels are sufficient. Fasting and 2 hours. There is no need of going for these intermittent values like 60 minutes or 30 minutes and 90 minutes. They give no clue to that one. When you have given 75 grams of the glucose to the non-pregnant male patient or female patient, or then 2 levels are sufficient. This is just the wastage of the resources to do this one. To draw the curve, there is no fun of that. If the values are more than that, which are according to the guidelines, only 2 values are sufficient for the diagnosis. The next question scenario is very lengthy. You have to concentrate on that one. Study of the patient recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes mellitus follows them for 20 years to determine the prevalence and severity of the complications of disease. 20 साल तक ये study हुई है. Then records of these patients are analyzed to identify the laboratory methods used to monitor patients' ability to maintain disease control and reduce the potential for complications. Which of the laboratory studies is most likely to afford the best method of monitoring disease control in these patients? Now, this is something a different question. It will not be asked, but it is asked probably in one of your exams previously. Although it was not the same one, it has been a little bit modified. The answer to this one is very simple one: glycosylated hemoglobin. Because from random we cannot pick anything. What he is asking, which of the following laboratory studies is most likely to afford the best method of monitoring disease control in these patients? It means for monitoring purposes, you don't have to go for the rest of the things. You have to just point towards the average glucose level of 3 months. That gives you the ideal scenario. This is not recommended. This is not performed. Microalbuminuria is just the early complication of the diabetes. It cannot give you the control of that one. So in this scenario, glycosylated hemoglobin will be the answer. So, thank you very much. These are the few MCQs. These can be in the form of the SCQ. These can be in the form of the MCQ. You must focus towards the key points which are asked in the main stem. Thank you very much.